And devastation here at home in our backyard. We have now learned that 2 tornadoes tore through mid-Michigan and that at least 70 homes and buildings were badly damaged. That's up from daybreak. We'll take you to the scene in just moments. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Susan Shaw.
I'm Emily Leonard. We do have a wintry mix on the radar right now, and that's why we want to start with storm teammates Ellen Vaca. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Emily and Sue. So yesterday we had some of our temperatures in West Michigan not just hit 60, but 68 degrees in spots like Sturgis. Not everyone hit that 60, but at least we were well above average. And today we're back down below average as we get the cooler side of this system. So it's a big storm. It's pretty potent. It's been impacting a lot of different states. And now we're getting the cool side with the winds. So you can see it's a pretty soggy scene in South Haven. A lot of these showers I would track in for you, but the back edge is building just a bit. So I don't think that that track arrival time would be that accurate. Just know over the next several hours we're going to continue to watch this light rain, and occasionally it's not impossible, especially in some of our northern spots, to see a snowflake mix in, because Big Rapids right now is sitting at 34 degrees. We got a lot of mid-30s on the board as we speak. And temperatures are going to continue to fall. So as we go overnight tonight, we're going to watch them tumble down into the 20s. So temperature over the next 12 hours shows that we're going to get much cooler, and that's why I think that we'll have a chance of seeing maybe some of that light snow actually stick once we get to tomorrow morning. But again, light and very minimal. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast in just a bit.
Okay, Ellen, thank you. Well, let's talk about that tornado outbreak now. Last night, we learned just hours ago that 70 homes were damaged. 2 tornadoes were involved with this.
So, Ellen, let's talk about those tornadoes. 2 tornadoes, 70 buildings in mid-Michigan destroyed or major damage.
So this was forecast by the Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service, and we've been talking about the severe weather potential for days. So yesterday when Bill Steffen and I were in, we were watching those storms come through. They had severe warnings as they came through West Michigan, and then they hit eastern Michigan where there's a lot more sunshine and fuel, and that's where we saw that burst even more so with that energy. So that's why we have not just 1, but 2 tornadoes. So if we look at those storm reports from yesterday, again, as we've been saying, this is a very potent storm. You can see widespread storm reports all across the region. So if we look at where those tornadoes were reported, you can see they're just on the southwest side of Flint. That's where we had those initial damage reports come in. So with those, you can see they stretch from Vernon all the way up to the side of Clayton, Shiawassee County there. Around the time that we saw the stronger of the 2 storms is about 7 o'clock. That's when it moved through Durant. So here are some of those damage reports that we saw. A lot of homes damaged, as we mentioned, and then the large pole barn flattened, widespread damage to the roof. So what we're learning about the 2 tornadoes is the stronger one is still being surveyed. The weaker one came in at 80-mile-per-hour winds, a path that was on the ground for about 6.4 miles, and it was about 100 yards wide. And that was the weaker of the 2.
Wow.
So we'll continue to hear back here within the day here about the stronger of the 2.
All right. Thank you, Ellen. We want to take you now to the scene of that devastation.
24-hour News 8's Lindsay McComal has been on that scene surveying the damage for the first time in the daylight. That's new since daybreak. Here's her report now.
What used to be behind me is the Great Lakes Fabrication and Machining Shop on M71, just one of the many businesses and homes dealing with damage this afternoon. One thing that officials are still working to see is just how widespread this damage goes. This video, shot by Jim Barrett, shows the tornado that tore through Shiawassee County. And now we're seeing the damage. Downed power lines, toppled trees, and destruction to homes and businesses.
My phone went off and said an extreme emergency, and so I set my kid downstairs, and I was going to stay up here just to look outside. And next thing you know, it got really windy, and I always hear, like, you hear a sound of a train or a roar. That's exactly what I heard.
Dominic Kuhn has lived on M71 for 15 years. He's never experienced a tornado before.
We had trees down in the backyard and stuff.
Part of his fence is now missing, and he spent the morning cleaning up. But he says it is nothing compared to what others are seeing.
I'm lucky because you look at the neighbors and different things around the area. I feel real blessed, at least what happened to us.
Like this house, a corner section now non-existent, and parts of the insulation and debris dozens of yards away. Or the shop just down the road from Kuhn, flattened by Thursday's tornado. Another reminder of how quick severe weather can roll in and how destructive its wrath can be. One other thing I want to mention is just how many crews are now in the Vernon Township area trying to work as quickly as possible to get power back to everyone, especially those dealing with the damage here. We'll, of course, continue to watch the developments on this tornado and have the very latest on woodtv.com. Reporting from Vernon Township, Lindsay McComel, 24 Hour News 8.